welcome to the much anticipated virtual Toyota Hybrids Ride and Drive. I'm here with local hybrid expert Alex from Toyota. You might recognize him from being on site at Greenfest and the Run for Clean Air in previous years. I'm Bobby Safransky, the events director here at Clean Air Council, and I'm very happy to welcome you all to the last and final day of this year's virtual Greenfest Philly presented by Toyota Hybrids. If you're not familiar with Greenfest Philly, it's the area's largest environmental festival, celebrating all things sustainable for the past 15 years. This year, the event went entirely virtual with live interactive programming for 2 full weeks, and today is the last day of the festival. But if this is your first time tuning in, or if you want to rewatch anything you missed, you can see recordings of everything at cleanair.org/Greenfest. Clean Air Council is a member-supported organization working to protect everyone's right to a healthy environment. We have over 8,000 members bringing their passion to the fight for better environmental health protections and are key to our ongoing work to protect public health and ecosystems. If you're not already a member, we need you here with us supporting our work. You can find out more information about our work and becoming a member at cleanair.org. Now, before we start the Q&A, we have a short video to give you some baseline information. I had so much fun putting this together with Alex, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So again, after this short video, we'll open up to questions in the comments, and let's get this started.
I'm Katie Edwards with Clean Air Council, and we're here today to talk about Greenfest Philly presented by Toyota Hybrids. We have Alex here from Toyota Hybrids to talk to us a little bit about this hybrid Highlander.
Hi Katie, great to be here. Yeah, we are here with the all-new 2020 Highlander Hybrid, a brand new redesign for this year from top to bottom.
Hi Alex.
How are you, Katie?
Good. It's great to talk to you from our hybrid Highlanders.
Yeah, great to talk to you as well. This is the all-new 2020 Highlander, just redesigned for this year.
Let's talk about the fun stuff. Tell me about these bells and whistles that I'm looking at.
Oh, we have a slew of brand new bells and whistles in the 2020 Highlander. I'm looking right now at the biggest screen the Highlander has ever seen. That is a 12.3-inch screen, class leading by far. And while I'm talking to you, I'm actually wirelessly charging my phone using something called Qi wireless charging right in the middle console right here. And we also are going to give you Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Amazon Alexa capabilities. So it is more connectable than ever before.
Can you tell me a little bit about the hybrid features of this car?
The great news about Toyota Hybrids is that they use what's called regenerative braking technology to charge the battery. So basically the vehicle uses the vehicle's momentum to charge that battery for you. And you're going to get about 35 miles per gallon with the Highlander Hybrid now, by far the best in class.
Alex, tell me what your favorite feature about this car is.
What I really love about the Highlander is that it's going to fit either 7 or 8 people depending on what your configuration of the second row is. It has a functionality called Driver Easy Speak. You just hit a very simple button, and what this vehicle is going to do is it's going to pick up your voice in the microphone and send your voice to the speakers in the back of the vehicle, making it a lot easier to communicate with those sitting in the back.
That's so cool. But let's talk important things. How about the safety of this vehicle?
Absolutely. So this Highlander that we're sitting in right here comes with a technology called a digital rear view mirror. So let's pretend you're going camping and you have a lot of stuff in the back, your camping gear or something like that, or even if you just have some really tall people sitting in the back of the vehicle. What you can actually do is if you can't see out that rear windshield via your rear view mirror, you flip a very simple switch underneath the mirror here, and it engages a camera on the rear windshield so you can always see out the back of your vehicle. Because of course, safety is always number one at Toyota. Another one of the great features we have inside our Platinum version of our Highlander Hybrid is a heads-up display. That's going to project your speed and your hybrid usage right on the windshield in front of you, so you don't have to avert your eyes to see how fast you're going.
Alex, what makes this car different from other hybrids out there?
Well, what sets Toyota apart from a lot of our competitors is we have our safety features as our #1 priority at Toyota. So we're going to give you what's called Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 in every single new Highlander. So that's going to come with a pre-collision system, dynamic radar cruise control, and 4 other safety features totally standard, even on the base trim level. And the one we're sitting in also has something called blind spot monitoring. So not only is this vehicle going to warn you when there's another vehicle in your blind spot, but it also has a feature called rear cross cross-traffic braking. So if you're pulling out of a driveway onto like a busy street, or if you're in a busy parking lot, it will actually give you a warning when there's a vehicle passing behind you.
Well, Alex, these are all such cool features, and I'm so impressed with Toyota's safety. Thanks for coming out today.
Absolutely, glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, hopefully that was informative and got your brains thinking of questions. So let's open up the comment section to some questions from you guys. Well, the obvious first question is, besides the Highlander Hybrid, which is an SUV, what other hybrid models does Toyota offer?
That's a great question. Toyota actually offers over 40 different hybrid trim levels of a variety of their vehicles. Toyota came out with the first ever hybrid to hit the market, which was the Prius back in the late 90s. So we do still have the Prius, as well as hybrid versions of multiple cars and SUVs. The Corolla just became a hybrid for the first time as of 2020. Of course, we have our Camry Hybrid and Avalon Hybrid, and we also have our RAV4 Hybrid, our Highlander Hybrid, and as well as that, both our Venza and Sienna, our minivan, are going to be coming out as versions that will be exclusively hybrid very soon. So Toyota is very excited to be introducing all kinds of new hybrid vehicles to the lineup continually.
That's great. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting. My wife is pestering me already for the Sienna hybrid.
Yeah. A question from the chat is, what kind of mileage does it get? And that actually brings me another good, like, how does it compare, besides mileage, with the gas Highlander?
Absolutely, yeah. So you're going to get about 10 miles per gallon more with the hybrid version as opposed to the non-hybrid. You're going to get about 34 miles per gallon combined with the hybrid version, whereas you're seeing about 24 with the non-hybrid. Both of these numbers actually improved for the year 2020 because Toyota is now using a new chassis style called Toyota New Global Architecture. Very simply what that means is the vehicle now has a lighter, more rigid frame, and when you take a little bit more weight out of the vehicle, the overall efficiency is going to go up. So that 34 miles per gallon for the Highlander Hybrid is by far the best we've ever seen. It's about a 6 mile per gallon improvement from last year.
Wow, that's cool.
Very exciting.
We have lots of questions coming through.
Okay, love.
Catherine says, hi, Alex. For our next car, we were hoping to get a plug-in hybrid, especially one that can haul plenty of outdoor gear. Do you have a plug-in option that would be good for that?
Catherine, we have a great option for you. Toyota just released a brand new vehicle called the Rav4 Prime. It is our plug-in Rav4 vehicle. It is going to get you about 42 miles on a strictly electric charge, and you can drive that up to full highway speeds as opposed to previous plug-in hybrids that were only intended to be driven in the city. You can drive on the highway, and it's also the fastest RAV4 that Toyota has ever made with the RAV4 Prime. You're going to go from 0 to 60 in about 5.7 seconds. Really, really exciting stuff. But you don't lose any cargo space if you go for the RAV4 Prime. They're able to tuck those batteries right underneath the rear seats, so you have plenty of room. You can fold those back seats down to have plenty of room to haul all your camping gear. So I think that RAV4 Prime is really going to fit the bill for you.
Nice. Good recommendation. And speaking of batteries, we had a question how long the hybrid batteries are warranted for.
Absolutely, yeah. The hybrid batteries actually just got a brand new length warranty for the year 2020. We're now going to give you a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on all hybrid batteries, and you're going to have an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on all the hybrid components. So if anything goes wrong inside of that time frame, Toyota is going to take care of all those parts for you. But more often than not, we usually see the hybrid batteries last the lifetime of the vehicle. Usually by the time they start to go, people are already in the market for a new vehicle.
And someone was asking what the benefits of hybrid versus all-electric are.
Absolutely. So the good thing about hybrid vehicles, a big reason why we've seen a little bit of resistance maybe to the full electric vehicles for the past handful of years, primarily has to do with what they call range anxiety. Some people are concerned about their ability to find a charging station along their drive. So if you go with a hybrid or even a plug-in hybrid vehicle, you don't necessarily have to worry about having to find a charging station. You can still just use gasoline and the regular hybrid system of the vehicle to move you along. The other advantage to having a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid as opposed to a full electric vehicle is the charging time for some full electric vehicles is obviously going to be longer than just filling up your regular gas tank. So you have the option to go a couple of different methods depending on what your kind of traveling is.
Nice. And Eric was talking about in the chat the digital display, which I know I was very excited about when you showed it to me when we were filming the video. He was asking, he said it looks amazing, and wondering if you can talk more about it and what else can be displayed.
Sure. So the Highlander Hybrid now has a class-sitting 12.3-inch screen, the largest screen by far the Highlander has ever had on it. So obviously that's going to show, your standard, all of your radio capabilities, your Sirius XM if you have a subscription to that. The Highlander also now has Apple CarPlay, Amazon Alexa, and Android Auto capabilities. So if you have any of those smartphones, if you have an Amazon Alexa, you can connect to all that through that touchscreen as well. And that touchscreen is also going to show you, specifically on the Platinum, like we saw in the video, your bird's eye view technology. Now, if you have that technology equipped, what it's going to do is it's going to read information from 4 wide-angle cameras around the vehicle. So when you're in reverse or at slow speeds, it's going to give you a simulated top-end view of the vehicle that's going to show right on that screen in front of you there. So lots of really good stuff happening there.
Great. And someone was asking what the towing capacity of the Highlander was.
Sure. I believe the towing capacity of the Highlander is still 5,000 pounds.
Nice. Follow up to the Rav4 question. What's the mileage for the Rav4, the hybrid Rav4?
So your mileage overall is going, if you're using, say you're using both systems combined, your plug-in electric with your hybrid ability is going to get you about 94 miles per gallon equivalent. Now they call it equivalent because it's using a combination of electric and gasoline. Or if you're doing just your regular hybrid system, let's say for the sake of example, you've depleted your plug-in battery all the way down to nothing, and you're just running on the regular regenerative braking hybrid system in the RAV4, you're still going to get about 40 miles per gallon.
Nice. And a good question about the batteries, actually, what happens after they outlive their warranty period?
Sure.
Are they recycled? Yeah, what happens with them afterwards?
Yes, so Toyota obviously has always been one of the pioneers in terms of sustainability in the automotive industry. So in addition to reducing our carbon emissions, which is something Toyota has always been really, really interested in doing, there are a lot of applications that you can use to recycle batteries that are no longer feasible in vehicles. For example, Yellowstone National Park, they utilize over 200 old Camry hybrid batteries to power a lot of their infrastructure in certain places of the Yellowstone National Park. So there's all kinds of uses that they're continuing to come up with to use these old batteries that are no longer usable in the vehicles themselves. That's
great. It's so great to hear things like that when they happen.
Absolutely. Toyota really has a good conscience with these kinds of things.
Yeah, it's great to see like the life cycle of all these products. We had previously in Greenfest a lot of looking at items like plastic bags or like things you don't really think about the life cycle, and so it's good to hear that Toyota has a plan for their batteries once they outlive their intended life. We have Katie in the chat, you'll remember from filming this, and she said she loves the new hybrid Highlander. She spent a lot of time sitting in that car talking with you.
Yeah, Katie, it's one of the difficult parts of this job, because after you've driven one of these vehicles around, you think to yourself, I could really go for one of these. This is nice.
So let's talk about how the Highlander Hybrid compares to other SUV hybrids that are out there.
Sure. So the Highlander Hybrid is, now that they've redesigned it and they put that improved chassis on, like I mentioned, it's definitely going to have the best fuel economy of any vehicle of its particular class size. So obviously you might find a better fuel economy with vehicles that are smaller, but if you're looking at a 3-row mid-size crossover vehicle, in terms of fuel economy, you're not going to find anything better than the Highlander. It also, like I said, has that large screen that you can't get on any other vehicle. You can't get any screen that kind of size. And a lot of really good improvements have been made for the year 2020 as well. You're going to have more room on the inside, and you even have available Wi-Fi connect, where you can connect up to 5 different devices inside the vehicle. So a lot of really good stuff happening with new Highlander.
That's great. Now I remember when we were filming, you were talking about the hotspot capability. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. So basically what that is a subscription-based service you can get when you get a new Highlander. I believe you do get a trial of it. I think I want to say you get 3 months up front, so you can kind of give it a try. And basically, so if you're taking a road trip with, say, someone who needs a little bit of distraction, you can fire up your Wi-Fi hotspot and you can access it from 5 different devices inside the vehicle. So obviously the Highlander is kind of intended for a lot of people to be more of a family vehicle, maybe for somebody who doesn't so much want a minivan, but you still have that available Wi-Fi connectability to, for people to be able to work or go on Netflix or whatever you want to use your Wi-Fi for in the vehicle. It definitely would come in handy depending on how many kids you have.
Absolutely. We have an interesting question here, actually. Is there a difference between the plug-in hybrids, non-plug-in, and regular gas vehicles in terms of safety, the safety that they provide?
The great thing about Toyota is that safety is always one of our paramount priorities as well. So a lot of these vehicles, in fact, pretty much all Toyota vehicles are going to come with some version of our safety system that we call Toyota Safety Sense. What those are is they're computerized safety features that utilize both a camera and a radar in front of the vehicle that helps you avoid the most common types of vehicle collisions. So for the sake of example, the Highlander now has what's called Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. So that happens on that's going to be on both the hybrids and the gasoline versions of these vehicles, including the plug-in version of the RAV4. They're all going to have some version of that Toyota Safety Sense. You're going to get your pre-collision system, your automatic high beams. The Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 has 6 standard safety features. So you're going to have the exact same level of safety whether you go with a gasoline version or a hybrid version of these vehicles.
And we have a question, another one about the Rav4 Prime, actually. He's read some rave reviews about it, but only a couple to a few thousand have been sold this year. How many are you selling next year and onwards?
That's a really great question. Because of the fact that the plug-in market is, I would call it a fledgling market. I think a lot of people are really starting to get into the plug-in vehicles. We're starting to see a lot more infrastructure built around, especially around cities. You see a lot more charging stations than you used to. They're also becoming a lot more feasible to use because they're becoming more efficient to charge. There's a variety of different ways you can charge them. If you get like a quick charge version, you can have it all done in just a couple of hours. So yes, even though we may have only had a couple thousand sales of the Rav4 Prime so far, and it is always going to be, at least compared to the regular hybrids, it's always going to be a much smaller segment of the market. But Toyota really thought it was a segment of the market that was worth addressing, which is why we now have 2. We have both the Prius Prime and the Rav4 Prime for plug-in options for people. So we definitely think that's going to move more in that direction of having more available plug-ins as opposed to the other direction, which is what it has been in the past couple years.
Yeah, certainly voting with your dollar is the best way to ensure that they will continue.
Great way of putting it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit in the video, but what are some of your favorite features in this new Highlander Hybrid?
Oh boy, how do I even choose them? Well, I love the large screen. I love the fact that you do have all of your smartphone connectability now. So if you've never used, let's say, Apple CarPlay, I have an iPhone. So let's say for the sake of example, you have an iPhone, you're using Apple CarPlay. What you're basically going to do is you can plug in your phone right into the vehicle's USB port. And what it's going to do is it's going to show a version of your own phone's screen up on the touchscreen. So you're going to be able to display your text messages, whatever GPS you like to use, whether you like to use Waze or something like that. Basically the majority of the apps on your phone are going to be able to show up right on your screen. The other piece of technology that I like that we included in a lot of our vehicles is called Qi wireless charging. Now, in the sake of in the Highlander, it's located in the center console. Basically, if you have a smartphone that's relatively new, we're talking probably the past 5 years, you can take your smartphone, set it right down on that pad, and it will charge it wirelessly. So you don't have to worry about fumbling for a cord. You don't have to worry about if you left a plug in the car or anything like that. All you have to do is just set it down, and it'll charge your phone while you're driving. I'm a huge fan of that one.
Yeah, that was really cool when you did that in the video. Kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, yeah. We are living in the future.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I think I'm not sure if I ever heard, but it's a good question that someone brought up, is the Highlander a 4x4?
So you can get the Highlander in either front wheel or all-wheel drive. Basically, the all-wheel drive systems on all of our vehicles that are called unibody, which are basically all of our vehicles that don't have like a truck chassis, the all-wheel drive system is going to be a totally intuitive system. So if you decide to go with an all-wheel drive Highlander, it's going to primarily be using front-wheel drive for the majority of your driving. And then when the rear wheels detect any need for additional braking or torque, it will engage those wheels for you automatically. So you really don't lose much in the efficiency department if you opt to go for an all-wheel drive version because of the fact that it primarily operates in front-wheel drive. But it's just another way of giving you that peace of mind when you're on the road, giving you that extra traction for inclement weather or sharp turns or anything like that. So you have the option to go with either version depending on what you're looking for.
Nice. And do the plugins use standard 120 volt outlet, or do they take a fully, or how long does it take to fully charge a plug-in vehicle?
Sure. So you can, let's see, I need to look up the actual charge times, but you can definitely use just your regular 120 volt outlet like you would find in your, let's say your garage. It's going to come with the necessary adapter to be able to plug that in. And then I believe it's going to take, I want to say a little over 4 hours to charge the Prime with your regular plug-in version, and then if you have access to a 240 volt adapter, it's going to take about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And the other kind of great thing that a lot of people don't necessarily think about for these plug-in vehicles is you can set a charging schedule. So you might not realize that electricity actually has different costs depending on both where you live and what time of day you're using the electricity. So if you want to really save just a couple extra dollars on your charging, you can actually set it to charge the vehicle during the lowest times of your electricity costs, say probably from like 2 to 6 in the morning. So it's a really cost-effective way to charge these vehicles as well. But yeah, it comes with everything you need. If you have an outlet anywhere, regular outlet, you're ready to charge the vehicle.
Nice. And that's a good point, thinking about the generation of your electricity. If you have a plug-in, obviously, if you're just running like straight regular Pico or something, you might be burning fossil fuel. So you have to kind of like weigh the benefits to that.
Exactly.
Do you know if there's any plans? I'm not sure if you would, but do you know if there's any plans for a plug-in version of the hybrid in the future, or the Highlander hybrid?
We haven't heard anything directly from the company that they're planning on doing that. If I was to take a guess, I would probably say it's likely that we are looking to do that sometime in the future. I'm sure that Toyota is going to monitor really closely both the reactions and the sales numbers for the Rav4 Prime. And if we continue to get the kind of positive feedback we've been getting on it so far, I would not at all be surprised to see a plug-in hybrid Highlander happen in the future.
Nice. Now, I also remember when we were filming, you were talking about the parking assist. Can you tell me a little bit more about that feature?
Absolutely. So the parking assist basically is going to, the vehicle is equipped with a variety of sonar sensors around the vehicle. So when you're trying to park your vehicle, and this is also very helpful if you have the bird's eye view technology, these sonars are going to be able to detect proximity to any kind of obstruction around you. So if you're, in a tight garage or something like that, those sonars will pick up your proximity. And now with the braking assist feature we have with our parking sonar, it'll actually apply the brakes for you if you're going to imminently collide with anything. So it's really going to help you cut down on all those little dinks and dents that you might find when you're parallel parking or something like that.
Yeah. And can you explain more about the Toyota Care? I know you touched on that a little bit.
Sure. So all new Toyota vehicles are going to come with Toyota Care, which is 2 years, 25,000 miles. And what that includes is it's going to include all of your basic maintenance like oil changes and tire rotations, things of that nature. So you don't have to worry about that at all. It's also going to take care of your emergency road sign assistance. Road sign assistance. So it's anything goes wrong while you're on the road, you call the Toyota specialists. They're going to get a certified worker out there to assist you with whatever kind of issues you might be having on the road. Because again, we want Toyota customers to have a really good experience, especially when they're getting a brand new Toyota. So we're going to take care of all the possible headaches for that first 25,000 miles.
Nice. That's a big load off your mind, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you touched on some of the safety features, but can you tell me more about the Toyota Safety Sense and what that all entails? Sure.
So like I was saying, the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 has 6 standard safety features. So that will, and these safety features are designed to mitigate the most common types of vehicle collisions. So what are these? These are, distracted driving, front end collisions, those kinds of things, side swipes, visibility issues. So we're going to have our pre-collision system, which is going to address head-on collisions. So the camera on the front of the vehicle is actually designed to read what both a vehicle or a pedestrian look like. So if it detects the possibility of a collision, not only is that pre-collision system going to give you an auditory and visual warning, but if necessary, it will also apply the brakes for you to help avoid those kinds of collisions. You have your automatic high beams. That's kind of it kind of speaks for itself in that respect. The camera is able to detect ambient light on the road. So if you are driving in a totally dark area, it'll automatically engage your high beams so that you can see to the best of your ability. And then if it detects any kind of incoming light, like light from another car, it's going to drop down to your regular headlights again. You have your dynamic radar cruise control. I think that one's probably my favorite because like with, it just works just like regular cruise control. But what you also do in addition to setting your speed is you set your desired distance from the vehicle in front of you. So if you start to creep up on somebody when you're in cruise control, instead of having to turn it off and turn it back on over and over again, it'll actually slow you down to keep that distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. We have lane departure alert. What that does is, once again, that trusty camera in the front of the vehicle is reading the lines on the road. So if you begin to deviate from your lane without turning on your turn signal, once again, it's going to give you that auditory and visual warning. And if necessary, a lot of these vehicles also have steering assist, where it'll actually help nudge your course back into your lane. It's it's a really small course correction you hardly even notice, but again, really helps avoid those kind of side swipe collisions.
That's great.
And so the two came out with for Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. Yeah, we have a road sign assist where that camera can now read stop, yield, and speed limit signs. And we also have, I'm missing one, pre-collision system, automatic high beams, lane departure alert, dynamic radar cruise control, road sign assist, and it'll come back to me soon. There's one more.
There are so many. This is amazing. I mean,
I know. I lose track of them all. Let's see. Trace assist, departure alert. Oh yeah, I think I got them all. Automatic high. It said road sign assist, full speed dynamic radar cruise control, lane trace assist. Oh yes, that's right, lane trace assist. It's part of the lane departure alert. So in addition to reading those lines on the road, let's say you're on a backcountry road or a road with no lines or anything like that. Instead of reading lines on the road, if you're behind another vehicle, it can actually help trace the vehicle in front of you to keep you in the center of your lane. So if you're going around a bend or something like that and you're not applying the necessary turning power, it can detect that the vehicle in front of you is staying on the road and you are about to not stay on the road. So once again, that steering assist will help you stay in the middle of your lane, even if there are no lines on the road. Yeah, I was forgetting one.
You almost got it. You were there.
Hey, I'm a little rusty. COVID's got us all a little rusty.
Yeah. Let's see. So related question. Does the safety sense detect bicycles and motorcycles as well?
So as of Toyota Safety Sense 2.0, they are indeed designed to detect bicycles as well. This was the pre-collision system always detected both vehicles and pedestrians, but the addition of bicyclists was also something they brought in for this new Toyota Safety Sense system. So it is a highly evolved camera that can calculate really, really quickly a variety of different shapes on the road in front of you.
Yeah, that's great.
These are great questions.
We have an engaged crowd right now. This is amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
So a follow-up question about a few questions ago with the Toyota Care. Does that also apply to certified used cars sold through Toyota dealerships?
I believe the certified used Toyota vehicles are going to have their own kind of maintenance and warranty plans that you can definitely get with all certified vehicles. And if you do happen to be buying one inside that window, you still will get that Toyota Care for as long as that 25,000 miles is as long as you're still under that threshold. But dealerships who sell certified used vehicles can also definitely get you maintenance and warranty plans as well.
Great. And Catherine says it's really cool about those old batteries being used at Yellowstone, and wants to know what other kind of things Toyota is doing to make the car manufacturing and maintenance process more sustainable.
Sure. So a lot of what they're doing, we're starting to see this is getting into the weeds of hybrids a little bit, but we're starting to see a little bit more of a shift from what they call nickel metal hydride batteries over to the lithium ion batteries. Now, lithium-ion batteries are a lot more common for what you find in like your phones, like personal electronic devices. And the advantage to those is, from what I can tell, they tend to be more recyclable. There's a lot more uses for lithium-ion batteries. They're lighter. They tend to be more efficient. And as a result of having a lighter material that the hybrid battery is actually made out of, you're taking the weight down in the vehicle a little bit, which is going to once again increase your fuel economy. So they're always finding ways to squeeze every last bit of fuel economy that they can out of these vehicles. And those lithium batteries are going to have a lot more uses in terms of long-term recyclability.
Yeah, that's great. So Eric is asking, he says, very cool safety features and other high-tech features. Do you have other ways other than reading the car manual to learn more about all these features, particularly for older people? Maybe classes at the dealership or like online tools?
Yeah, well, the great thing about all the dealerships are I'm a product specialist for Toyota, but I go through all the same training that all dealerships go through in terms of operating all of these systems. So not only are you going to be able to find a lot of information on all of these systems through the Toyota website, but all of the dealerships, the salespeople of the dealerships, as well as the technicians, are really well versed in how to use all these technologies. And for people who have like onboard GPS systems, the dealerships will also upgrade those GPS systems for you on an annual basis as well. So they're very knowledgeable about these kinds of things. So you can even call in and say, how exactly do I switch it over to Apple CarPlay? I'm having trouble getting these systems working. They're very knowledgeable in those kinds of things.
That's great. I mean, that's good to know that that everyone's as knowledgeable as you in the dealerships.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think the addition of those smartphone programs really makes it easier, because everybody uses their phone all day. So if you can just basically use your phone but on your car screen, it's going to go a lot smoother for you. You don't have to learn as much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think did you have any like kind of last minute things that you wanted to cover before we cut this short?
I would just recommend that if anybody is, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, you really never know about these things until you actually get behind the wheel and drive them. And I will say that the new chassis system, the way they're designing these Toyota vehicles now, they run smoother and more efficiently and with more power than ever before. They're safer than they've ever been, and they have the best fuel economy that they've ever seen as well. So don't take my word for it. Get behind the wheel, drive one around like I did with the Highlander Platinum the other day that I really, really loved. And I think the proof will be in the pudding.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Hopefully the video that we showed earlier can kind of give a little bit of that feeling, but you really can't tell until you sit in them. I was, with Alex, and that it's just a lot of fun. It's comfortable. All the features are actually really intuitive. When you're showing me how to charge your phone by just putting it there, and like kind of all the things are just kind of, they're there and they're good. It's good technology.
Yeah, they're constantly making these vehicles more and more user-friendly. So I think you'll definitely find that if you take one for a test drive.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Alex. We really appreciate you taking your time and sitting here with us today and answering all these questions. We had some great questions, so I'm very happy that that our audience was engaged and came up with questions that I learned a whole lot here. And we're starting to get thank yous in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Great questions from everybody. I appreciate that. I was really hoping we'd get some good ones, and you guys did not disappoint, so thank you.
Well, thanks again. And just like this presentation will be able to be viewed, reviewed, shared on our Greenfest recap page. Everything that you might have missed at Greenfest will be there. Just go to cleanair.org/Greenfest. And thanks again. And we hope you had a great Greenfest. And here's looking to next year.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.